Imagine this. You've just met someone who takes your breath away. Every time they text, your heart races. You stay up late thinking about them, replaying every word they said. You're floating in this dreamy cloud. The world feels brighter, and for the first time in a while, it feels like you've found something special. But what if I told you that this cloud you're floating on might actually be hiding a storm, and that without realizing it, you might be ignoring red flags that could have a major impact on your future together? It's an uncomfortable thought, isn't it? But I'm here to talk to you about the subtle, sneaky things that often get overlooked in the whirlwind of infatuation. Those early warning signs that can shape the future of a relationship. Trust me, this talk could change how you view relationships forever. Now, let's discuss the power of infatuation and why it binds us. You see, when you first meet someone and start developing feelings for them, you are in a state of infatuation. Everything feels perfect. You are not thinking clearly. You are not rational. Instead, you are swept up in the fantasy of what could be. Your heart ruling your head. Here is one thing: infatuation isn't just a feeling, it's a biological response. Your brain is flooded with dopamine and oxytocin, the feel good chemicals. When you're around them, your brain is in overdrive, making you feel on top of the world, giving you that rush. It's like being on a high, and when you are high, you don't see things the way you would if you were sober. And that's exactly when the red flags can be so easy to overlook. When you are feeling that rush or excitement, you may see a little controlling behavior as protectiveness. You might mistake selfish action for charming confidence. When they dismiss your feelings, you might think they are just having a bad day, brushing aside the very behaviors that in time will harm the relationship. Let's dive into some of the red flags that often go unnoticed. These aren't always the big, obvious deal breakers. No, these are small, seemingly insignificant things that whisper instead of shout. But trust me, they matter. Number one, disrespecting boundaries. At first, they might act like they're interested in what you have to say. They'll listen, they'll smile, they'll nod. But have you noticed the times they cut you off mid sentence? Or when they push you into situations that make you uncomfortable and then just say, oh, I was just joking. This is not just a random personality trait, it's a disregard for your boundaries. In the early stages of infatuation, you're too, carried away with your attention to care about the subtle ways they dismiss your feelings. But over time, this can breed resentment. And trust me, it builds up. Boundaries are essential in any relationship. And if they are being trampled on now, you need to ask yourself, will this change? Number two, jealousy dressed as caring. Have you ever had someone care too much about where you are or who you are with? A partner who constantly wants to know your whereabouts, who tries to limit your time with friends, or who gets upset when you give attention to others. This can feel flattering at first, like they're just so into you. But jealousy is not love. It's insecurity dressed up as protection. They might say, I just don't want you getting hurt, or I only care because I love you. But beware, these words often hide control, not care. If they are jealous now, what will they be like in 6 months or a year down the line? Will they trust you then? And do you trust them now? Number three, a lack of accountability. We all make mistakes, right? We all say things we regret and sometimes act out of character. But how does your partner handle their mistakes? Do they own up to them, or do they shift the blame, make excuses, or gaslight you into thinking you're overreacting? When you are infatuated, it's easy to overlook this. You might tell yourself, oh, they were just having a rough time, but ignoring this behavior early on can lead to bigger problems in the future. And it's not just about a mistake, it's about how someone reacts to their mistake and whether they take responsibility for their actions. But here is the kicker. Ignoring red flags doesn't just mean you are missing out on potential happiness. It can be actively dangerous. It's like ignoring a crack in the foundation of a house because you're distracted by the pretty wallpaper. Eventually, the crack is going to get bigger and bigger, and one day the whole house could come crashing down. If you overlook red flags now, they don't magically disappear. They grow, they fester, and what starts out as a small issue becomes a much bigger one down the road, impacting your emotional, mental, and even physical health. I've seen people end up in toxic relationships because they ignored the signs in the beginning, thinking that things would improve or that they were just in their head. You deserve better than that. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace of mind. And more than that, you deserve a partner who sees you, hears you, and values you enough to walk through issues together. Now, here is the good news. You can protect yourself. The power lies in awareness. The first step is recognizing that infatuation is clouding your judgment. That means taking a step back, observing behaviors without the emotional fog, and asking yourself the hard questions. Are my boundaries being respected? Do they treat me as an equal? Or is there a power imbalance? Am I being heard and valued for who I truly am? Or am I just a source of validation? And if you're unsure, ask for advice. Reach out to trusted friends or family who know you well enough to tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. But above all, remember, love is supposed to make you feel secure, not anxious. It should bring out the best in you, not cause you to doubt your worth or second guess your feelings. You don't need to settle for someone who doesn't fully see and appreciate you. You're worth more than you know. I want to leave you with this. Infatuation is fleeting, but love, real solid mutual love, is something that stands the test of time. It's built on trust, respect, and clear communication. So, don't rush into something just because it feels exciting. Take your time, look for the red flags earlier on, and don't be afraid to walk away from something that isn't right for you, no matter how much it tugs at your heart. Because at the end of the day, you are worth the clarity and you deserve someone who recognizes that and treats you accordingly. Thank you. I do hope to see you in my next video. Bye.